You are using my theory, it seems.
Very true. You use good afternoon, so somehow you felt perhaps it's afternoon only. That's
No, I didn't feel. I knew it was morning. I was just trying to see how many children were attentive.
I
So,
know that. I know that you're using that theory. I know it's a.
so this laptop now it's okay. I was just trying. I don't know what happened that time. The picture vanished, and you can see me fine,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
can see you fine.
and I'm audible enough.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, Vipin, you are looking smart.
Thank you,
I
sir.
can see you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
sir.
And
morning,
welcome to the
Satya.
Morning, sir.
session of Plus One. We have with us the very own Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, one person whom we have seen always on the stage. So now you're getting an opportunity to interact with him in person. They have just seen you as a corporate leader, as a very strict person. So may I tell you, he's a very compassionate human being and a very fun-loving person. So welcome to this class, sir. We have a batch of wonderful students, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Bhupinder. First of all, I don't think the kids know me as a strict person. The only strict person they know in school is Bhupinder Gogia, and probably Bhupinder only knows one strict person, that is me. So
No,
don't pass it on to the
two
kids.
people.
Don't pass it on to the kids. Uh, Having said that, let me also say that I would like to compliment Bhupinder, Gautam, Neha, your class teachers who've been joining various sessions. This is an added pressure which they have taken upon themselves. And I hope they are equally enjoying all the sessions with the members of the Governing Council, the Academic Advisory Council, and the PSC. So let me tell you, I have had two sessions, one with the senior class, class 12, section A and B together. And the subject was family and friends. The second session I took was a junior class to you, class 10. So both were board exam, board year classes. And I had a chat with them on giving, philanthropy. The subject or the topic or the theme which I have chosen for you is entrepreneurship. So I want to know, does that excite you? Can we do that, or you want me to give any other topic and I can speak on that? Feel free to give your views. Who's the monitoring class?
Any one child can speak. Is it okay with you guys?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, sir, it's good.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, then we stay with entrepreneurship, and let me tell you why I have chosen this subject, especially for class 11. Two reasons. One, the challenges the country is going through, including, I'm sure, your own parents who are either in business or in professional service. Last 1 year has been very, very challenging. The second is class 11, you have a bit of pressure off after having cleared class 10 and waiting for the next year boards. The mind can really think, ponder few things beyond the education and studies which you have to do. And the last point which I want to make here is entrepreneurship also, because India will continue to be the land of opportunities, and India will continue for the next probably few decades to attract investments not only from the foreign companies or foreign individuals, but equally from the domestic businesses. And let me also add to that the startup ecosystem. India is probably now number 3 in the world, if number number 3 or 4. My data could be mixed up now. I haven't brushed it up for the last year. What has happened? Large number of startups have come up in India, and you see a few of them turning into unicorns. You know what are unicorns? Anyone can tell me?
Billion-dollar valuation startups.
Exactly. Exactly. Well done, Sanaj. So clearly for you boys and girls, I would say opportunity awaits you in the next couple of years. Today we are at a $3 trillion economy, and when I talk about the $3 trillion economy, that is the formal economy. And if we add the informal economy, probably we are already kissing 5 trillion around that. Because unfortunately, in spite of the demonetization, the parallel economy continues to grow, and I don't see any resolution to that. And we would be growing to a $5 trillion economy by 2026. Could be 2025 as well, given the 2 bad years which we've had. Otherwise, this could have been a little earlier. And all this can come on the back of organic growth, which we have been seeing, barring the last year, which we ended at a negative of 8%. GDP growth this year started badly. I don't know how the dice is going to roll through the year, but will certainly have the impact. And the pandemic here, as I mentioned earlier, the kind of challenges, job losses, businesses losing stream, businesses shutting up, small and micro enterprises really struggling, including the large mid-cap companies and the larger companies who are not into consumer goods. They are facing a huge problem. But for the government's public spending, which has by way of construction of roads, ports, etc., which has pushed the steel, cement. So these are the sectors which have done well. So I'm not going to bore you with the data point. The opportunities which I'm talking of are immense. Every sector in India has an opportunity, either through way of a startup, or you can join your parents' businesses and increase and enhance them, take them to the next level, and the professionals who are really bringing in innovative ways of leadership, innovative ways of operating businesses, but more importantly, new products which are hitting the road every now and then. And for you, I think the future technologies is the icing on the cake. The artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, augmented reality, virtual reality, the machine learning, robotics. So every and anything is now getting into a change of that perception of including the manufacturing as well as the services sector. And given Prime Minister Modi's call of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we heard that Make in India campaign earlier, going into Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is make local for global. So the Indian companies need to go global. I mean, that's the combination of the word which we can pick up. And if I look at the manufacturing sector, the performance-linked incentive schemes have been announced in the last couple of months for various sectors in food, in electronics, in the mobile telephones, and the likes. And the idea is to incentivize the private sector to make investments, enhance productivity, and on all the incremental sale, which there are different years. It could be a financial year ending March 2019, 2020, and some of the schemes will fall into 2021. That becomes your base year. So if you've done 100 rupee of revenue or sales, then in the next year, you need to have a 10% growth. And on the incremental sale, you will get incentive which could be 10% to sliding down to 7% sector to sector, year to year. This is almost 6 years of incentives which the government has brought in. This is also primarily looking at how the world trade moved away from China, though China has not lost its competitive edge. They are still doing very well. They have grown positive. They were the only country to have grown in the Jan-March quarter in a positive way in the world. But this is the way how the government of India is incentivizing. And two things will be required. One will be preparation. How do you prepare yourself for these opportunities which knock on the door? And I'm reminded of a quote. It was written on a Japanese bus stop. Only buses stop here, not your time. And the time comes when you're fully prepared to encash the opportunities which come your way. And also, you've heard opportunity knocks once or twice. My belief is opportunities keep on knocking. We just need to know which is the right door to open. And that you can only do if you are fully prepared. And that preparation comes from your schooling years, on your education and studies, on learning with your friends, learning from teachers, learning from your siblings at home, picking up values from your parents, grandparents, and the society and the communities which you live in. That's one. The second would be through the life journey of each one of you. What you need to do is you must focus on your strengths and build on those. But simultaneously, you also need to work on the weaknesses and see how you can overcome. And that comes through learning every single day. And that's the mantra which I have kept in my life in front of me. And I'm just sort of passing that on to each one of you. And believe you me, every intersection in life is an opportunity. Is an opportunity to make a decision, in an opportunity to make course correction if that is needed, or is an opportunity to open new vistas and new beginnings. So clearly, the last point I want to make before we sort of get into the interaction is you have to be a beginner every single moment. And that is, again, a mantra which you must keep in your mind all the time. Because if you are a beginner, you will be ready to learn. If you have a fixated mind that I don't need to learn, you are bound to fail at some point of time. So let me stop here and hear your views on entrepreneurship, what your parents are doing. Have you picked up a few things from your parents, your grandparents who are in business or professional or they are professionals? And in the last 1 year, do you think there is a perceptive change in their mindset, and how have they dealt with? So the floor is open. Anyone can raise their hand. Actually, just unmute and let's get on to the interaction. Let me now learn from each one of you. Who's going to start? I'm waiting. Someone is raising hand. Yes, Krish.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
About entrepreneurship, like it's a very nice topic to start on. Actually, since the lockdown started, I was then, and like it was getting very boring for me. So I told my father that, Dad, I also want to go to factory and join. I want to know how you work and how things work and learn the value of money. So, like, it's been 1 year. I have been working there. I've learned the value of money. and have planned my future that I want to go to Canada, Vancouver, study from UBC college and try to expand my business over there. And if that starts up, when I shift over there, live my life there. If that fails, then I'm back to keep my family with me.
Okay. So Krish, let me give you one a small lesson. You just mentioned that if it starts well or if it succeeds, I think you mentioned a sentence with if. So to achieve success and greater success, drop the word if. Because if will always give you a confused mind, while you must have a determined mind. And I'm not saying that that is sure short way to get success or to achieve success. You will fail, and you will fail yet again all the time. I think the art is how quickly one can bounce back, pick up the threads, and start a new journey if you have failed. If you are not doing good, then how can you really apply the learnings of what has happened, course correct, bring in your teams together, and then put a new plan to take that forward. So drop the word if. That's very important.
Thank you, sir.
And let me also tell you the best way to predict one's future, and let me say your future, is to create it. Never give the power of the pen in anyone else's hand. To create your future, to create your destination and destiny, and more importantly, to create happiness for you. Everything resides within you, and that is the thing which you must keep in mind.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So I assume Deepika is the class teacher. Deepika, you are muted.
Yes, sir.
You're the class teacher, so you have a very shy bunch of boys and girls.
No, come on, class 11, 11A, come on, speak.
Manan is there. Manan, you raise the hand.
Yes,
Manan?
sir.
Yeah, please.
Okay, Gautam, just see because I can't see.
Yes, sir.
many
I'm
hands
seeing.
in
I'm
there.
seeing. I'm seeing, sir. Yeah.
Okay,
Good
Manan.
morning, sir, and good morning, teachers. Sir, I have a question for you. Is it compulsory for an entrepreneur to take up risk to succeed?
To take up what?
To take up risk to succeed?
Absolutely, absolutely. The greater risks one can take, the more success one can achieve. You know, there is a saying: you should always tread the path where no one has walked before, and that is taking a risk. Because very few people will take risks and walk on that path. But if you walk that path with conviction and commitment, you can reach the stars. So risk taking is something which is inherent part of entrepreneurship. If you don't take risks, you can be entrepreneurs but mediocre. And I'm not saying that the entrepreneurs who have not taken risks, they have not achieved huge success. But 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs who have reached the pinnacle of success would have taken risks in their life. And that's the way the entrepreneurship journey starts.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for your advice, sir.
Who's next? So Manan, you can drop your hand. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah, Ganesh.
sir, I have also been coming with my father to his business.
Yeah.
And I have seen, sir, being an entrepreneur, the thing that satisfies you is like when you create your own good. Like the final product, when it comes out, you are satisfied that you have created it yourself. Like you're
Right.
not working under someone.
Yes. And you're right. Kanish, tell me, when you were accompanying your father to work, did you see your father and your staff and the employees at the factory maintaining the due precautions, COVID precautions, wearing masks?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
we we were very we were taking precautions, and we had like proper settings for the employees, and we were providing them everything in the lockdown event. So it helped us. Like when the lockdown opened, the employees were very ready to work. Like in Louisiana, it was shortage of employees everywhere, but we didn't face any problem because
Right.
everything was managed.
Yeah, so you are right. Creating a product is always gives you huge satisfaction. Uh, Two things need to be kept in mind. A, what are your customers' expectations? What do they want? And a product should be developed around meeting those expectations. But more importantly, the product which you develop, and it could be a product development, it could be research, it could be new innovation. It must be meeting the price points, because many a times companies go and create a product. The product is so costly that they don't find consumers. So you have to have a balance and keep that in mind, that when you are into product innovation, the product must be consumer centric, consumer expectations met, and the price point. And I'm not saying the price point means the cheapest product. I'm not saying that. It depends on the consumer, the customer target you have, and a value proposition for that. Because I can tell you, Ganesh, the customer experience, it is the greatest barrier to entry. So if you are doing something where your customers are very happy, even if you have competition in that, you will be much better off because you are having happy customers, happy consumers. So I understand. Are the girls not looking at being entrepreneurs?
I would like to speak next. Good
Yes,
morning,
Drishti.
sir.
Morning.
Sir, my sister is an artist. She's elder to me. She's passed out from Satpal only. So, she's a proper artist. So, she decided to start a business for painting. She used to take orders. So, at that time, like in lockdown, everything was shut down. She didn't have college, or even we didn't have school at that time, online school. And so, she decided to take orders from paintings, and there was like a big demand because everybody's at home, and like you do whatever you want, like this is your time, you need to do what you love and what you can actually relate to. So she started to taking orders for paintings. So there were customers who wanted a particular need and what a particular design for their home. So then we started. I used to help her like in budgeting or any product she wants or any type of design. So that is one thing where I built my confidence and where I thought that there is something that I can do and something that I can help to someone else. So that is that one point where I thought that I'm actually happy in helping someone. And we actually used to like earn from that paintings, and we used to donate them. We have an like my father has in is in relation to a orphanage. So what we used to do is we get that money. We used to like have particular foods or products like for toys. We used to donate them, and we actually felt really happy. Like in this pandemic, everybody has lost so many things, and they're so difficult for them. Like cannot afford things. They are not that they don't have that luxury. So that was the one moment I was really happy that I could help someone and help the family to upbringing anything. So yes, that's it. Thank you.
Drishti, so happy to hear that you got inspired from your sister, who's an artist, helped her, and I'm sure your sister would have picked up, I don't know, from your mother, father, or someone else to become an artist. But I think more importantly, what you just mentioned, how you efficiently utilize that money for a cause to help the suffering families around you who need it the most. I think this is something which is very, very good. So you have a mind of an entrepreneur and artist, but also a heart which will extends the hand to help others. Very good. Happy to hear that. Who's next? You want me to call out names? Radhika. I should say Radhika G. So I assume G is for Gupta, but I can say Radhika G.
Is that like personally I want to pursue a career in engineering? I believe like 10. So I'm not that no entrepreneurship. I can't see myself.
So Radhika, can you switch off your camera because I think there's a broadband issue there.
Yes.
Then we can hear you properly. Yes.
It's
Go
just
ahead.
that I've been aiming to pursue a career in writing, and I've been content writer. So I can't see myself like starting like an entrepreneurship.
So I think there was a bad audio for me. If anyone heard that, can you tell me what did she say?
Sir, actually, she was saying that because she wants to pursue writing, she cannot see herself like participating or anything. Like she's not interested in business and entrepreneurship.
I got it. No, but let me tell you, entrepreneurship really doesn't just mean starting a business. I think the enterprise, the spirit of enterprise is what do you want to do where you are passionate and you should be happy doing that. And I'm sure we will see a great writer in Radhika. And I don't know what she is interested in writing, fiction, non-fiction, books for kids. I mean, I have been reading books from Sudha Murthy, who is the wife of Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys, and she in her own right runs an NGO. I don't know whether all of you have read those books, but they are lovely books which he has written.
Yes.
Ruskin Bond, I mean, he writes stories on kids. I had an opportunity to interact with him. He was in Missouri. We had a great time talking to him and Sudha Murthy both. And that I did because my grandson, who listens to those stories, which my wife Deepika, I have to say my wife Deepika because I don't want to confuse with the class teacher. She reads, and I also get to read. So we had an interaction. And I'm sure, Radhika, you will be a great writer. I think if you can pursue that passion.
Sir, Radhika has a blog. She writes blogs, sir, and I've been through her blogs. Amazing. I mean, it's wonderful to see the kind of writing that she does.
That's great. That's very great. Good luck and my best wishes, Radhika.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
So when she writes blogs, does that mean she has followers? Because this is one animal I don't understand, the social media. No.
It's like I have a website and writing.
Okay. All right. Who's next?
Apurva, you raised your hand. Apurva, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I have my dad, but I don't want to pursue that because that's already done and that's already very enlarged and spread. So I want to start something of my own, but I'm 16, so I don't know how I can get into a business right now. Like something that I completely own myself and not my dad's.
So and what does your father do? What is he into?
Sir, swing machines.
Swing machines.
Yes. Sir, we're single. SINGER.
Single.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you don't want to pursue that business, you want to do something else.
Yes, sir.
So you have a whole number of years ahead of you once you clear the school in 2 years or a year from now, and then your graduation and probably grad as well. You will have to see the opportunities on the way. And when I say opportunities, doesn't mean that the business opportunity I'm saying, which is how the world is moving. So I don't know what you want to become in life. I mean, no, sorry, not become in life. I mean, the stream of education you want to pursue. The technology is changing every 4 or 5 years. So you have to see the global trends. You will have to see how India is shaping up. And I'm saying that there will be many ways which you can really see, and then you need to spend time on that to understand the nuances and the nuts and bolts, which I'm sure your father, being a businessman, can support you. It is always good to have a mentor, who can guide you, handhold you. And ultimately, you will see something coming in front of your eyes, probably one or probably a few options. And that is a time when you can weigh the options and go for the best one which you feel you are prepared for.
Thank you, sir.
Who is next? Gurpreet. I see you, so let me call on you.
Good morning, sir. I'm not that right now. I don't have any, but I'm gonna go to after my first class, and I'll do this. Yeah, I'll go into real estate.
So I could not hear that. You want to do something with what? Can anyone tell me who heard it properly?
Gurpreet, you could switch off your cam and then speak. Perhaps it will be audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
So I said that I'm not that much into a business right now, but maybe when I'll go to Canada after my 12th, I'll invest in shares and maybe I'll go into real estate.
All right. So you want to become an investor into the capital markets. So I'm sure you will be able to pick up some tricks from Warren Buffett. How to make good investments. The only thing I can tell you is anytime you are getting into making investments, you should always be a long-term player and consistent with the sectors which you choose. But that will always help you in the long run. There will be ups and downs on the stock market, the shares, the capital market. But in the long run, you will see it will always be a slow and steady game. And sometimes there is a windfall also. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Who's next?
Roham?
There is a
Hi,
hand
sir.
raised, I can't see.
Good morning.
Yes, morning. Go ahead.
Morning, sir. So basically, I've been into some type of entrepreneurship that I've started recently, basically. So because I came back from my hostel and I'm from Mayo College as well. So once I came back, I was too much interested in shoes, and then I slowly and steadily got to know about these shoes, and then I started buying some and then selling some ahead and making a marginal profit so that I can get my own shoes. And then now I've started a page of my own on Instagram so that I buy some shoes and then sell some. And because I like many of them, I tend to keep some. But through that I've learned things that maybe generally I could have not learned because I've learned things about logistics, about that how a pair comes and then how do you have to ship it through further. So I've learned things, and I think that it goes well and on, and then later I can continue as it a side business, and then yeah, that's it.
No, that is good, Roham. So you are into trading activity at this point, buying and selling shoes and making a margin on that.
Yes, sir.
So the question
Basically,
is, how do you spot the opportunity of buying shoes at a lower price, and you are so convinced that someone will buy for a higher price? Just
so
share that with us.
So these shoes are the young generation of the Gen Z, you can say, is like crazy after all these shoes, and they are all willing to pay higher prices than the retail price. So these come in a limited quantity, and if you're able to secure a pair at retail, you can make a marginal profit out of it.
Oh, I see. I see. So it is like the young boys and girls who used to stand in the queue to buy iPhones. They will buy
Yeah,
two,
you
keep
can
one
take
and
it as
sell
an
the
example.
other. Okay. I mean, so you are keeping an eye on the opportunity, strike at the right time, pick up a shoe which is not available to the others because they were too lazy to tap on online or whatever the case may be, and that's how you make a margin. Question is, what is the percentage of margin you make on a shoe which you sell?
So basically that depends on a shoe to shoe. So for example, if a shoe is coming in many colorways, for example, if there's a shoe that comes in different colors every month.
Right.
So for example, the supply of that shoe will be very much, so people would be requiring it less. So the profit made on that shoe will be comparatively less than a shoe that comes rarely and comes in a particular color or something.
So how do you find a customer for that shoe?
Sir, maybe like some of our friends even want it, and then maybe once you're involved in this, you're added into some groups where there are all these sellers and all. So if they have a customer, they tend to buy from you, and then that's all how it works.
So next time, whenever you have a shoe which was the unique color or less in number, do an online auction. You will end up getting a much higher price than what you're getting today.
Okay, sir. I'll consider it as a yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
So get into the auction process.
Sure, sir.
Great. Very good to hear that.
Thank you, sir. Good talking to you.
Prerna is there? Prerna?
I see Sananch raised a hand.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, I'm not a business-minded person, but I would definitely love to go in politics or be an officer and serve the country with much more honesty and being compassionate at heart.
Well, you're choosing the right profession. Politics, we need young, budding minds, honest people who have the zeal and enthusiasm to, change, bring in a change. But what I clearly see is you want the business guys to be standing outside your door, rather you doing that outside the minister and the bureaucrats.
Definitely, sir.
Okay,
I do
I'm
have
sure
a
you'll be a successful politician, and if I'm living, at least I'll have some leeway to come and walk into your office without being stopped.
Every time, sir. You're most welcome.
Okay, good luck. Who is your favorite politician these days? Or
Sir,
let's say
to be
these days, or
honest,
whoever has been in the past. I mean, let me not give you a smaller option to choose.
well, sir, the politician keeps on changing because they do play politics, but some lack of honesty is there in all of them. Rather, I talk about Mr. Modi or Arvind Kejriwal, anything. They all play politics somehow.
Yeah, but unfortunately, in a country like India, one has to play the political game to stay in politics. Times have changed. I don't know.
I would
I
try
can share. I can share with you, Prerna, I come from a political family. My father was a politician all through his life. But those times, the politics were, it was a very, very different politics, where, where people from different ideologies, different parties, met with great respect, had respect for each other. दुख सुख में मिलते थे. Evening they would be meeting like friends. So I have seen that all my life in our home. And I can tell you, my father was greatly influenced by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And that's why you see the Nehru Siddhant Kendra Trust, and we are sort of continuing with that journey. And I also firmly believe that but for Nehru, this country, it is difficult to perceive how we would have been post 1947 when the coffers were empty, the governments didn't have money, and how the infrastructure, the IIMs, the atomic research centers, the IITs, the Bhakra Dam, and the likes, the steel plants, how they got built. That is something which is a huge contribution of Jawaharlal Nehru. But tell me, who inspired you to get into politics? Who's your inspiration?
So my uncle, he's an IAS and he's working right now in DDA in Delhi. So there was a case, I guess, some upper level politician wanted some land, but in a corrupt means. He was sharing it with our family, and when I heard that he did his full honesty and didn't give him the land, that what inspired me. So he's basically my inspiration. As you said, that Jawaharlal Nehru old politicians, they truly that time politics was different. Now it's basically all money in the game, and I would love that.
Right, right. So I can only suggest if you are getting into politics, pick up my dad's book and read. I'm sure it will be available at the school library.
Sir, could you please,
It is
could you
there,
please
sir.
tell me the name?
We have the book in the library. You can just search, ask ma'am by the name of the name of the school, and that's his dad's name. So you can ask for the
Okay.
book. We have many copies.
Okay, ma'am.
So yeah, but why I'm saying is you read it because he while he was a politician within India, he had number of opportunities to be and show his leadership skills at the global stage as well, um, especially in the field of population and development, how the changes were brought in. And he was awarded the UN Peace Medal in the year 1987 for his contributions. So it will be a good read and something you can pick up. So you can read that, but there are other politicians. You can read Nehru, Patel, Gandhi. You can read Indira Gandhi. I mean, how Bangladesh was created. And since you are a politician, you want to become a politician, there is a series on YouTube, Pradhan Mantri. It is 26 episodes, which starts from pre-partition, the princely states, how the British played the game, divided the country, how India got consolidated, how the states were brought in. So it will be a great experience for you to go through that. It starts with pre-partition, and then from Nehru to I think Narasimha Rao. There are 26 episodes.
Okay, sir.
So, Sanaj.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck, Reena. Sanaj.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, I still remember that when I was in 8th class, I used to accompany my father to work for around 2 months in his factory. After those 2 months were over, he said one thing to me. He said, "Now you've experienced what it feels like to be the boss. Now you need to earn that position." So since that time, I'm doing internships in various fields where he has put me into, and I'm working on the ground so that I learn something new from every experience.
Mm-hmm.
instead of just sitting in a cabin and listening to what the owner has to say. I usually work on the ground and see what the people are doing. Recently, I've been doing an internship at a stockbroking firm. So at that, I go there at 2 after my classes get over. And till 3:30, while the market is operating, I observe the things that are going on. And at 3:30, those people have taken a responsibility to teach me something about stock market for 30 minutes or so before they have their lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go into analysis field. So even if I want to go to politics, instead of becoming a politician, I would rather become like Prashant Kishore. Instead of being the king, I would like to be the kingmaker.
So Sanaj, you're a smart guy. You know, Prashant is just vacated and taken off. He says, I'm not going to do anymore. And you are seeing that vacancy. The only problem is, do you want to jump in tomorrow morning, or are you going to complete your studies and then do this?
Let's see, sir, where destiny takes me.
Okay. All right. But I can tell you, your father is doing the right thing of putting you on the shop floor and seeing how things happen. The only problem I see is, if someday he is going to be hard on you, you are going to go and cry on your mom's shoulder, and she's going to really discipline your father, and next day he'll not say anything. So I can share my personal experience with you. My kids never got the opportunity to train at Airtel. And I made sure that they were never with our companies when they were training. Of course, I mean, I would say we also didn't plan really very well on how to really build the skills which they have learned on their own. And my elder son has a grudge. He says, my friends trained at Airtel. You never let me do that. So he was always working outside in a different company, because then you are treated at par with other employees and your colleagues. Within the system, you are seen as the boss's son. And therefore, a differential treatment kicks in. But good luck, and let's see young Sanaj analyzing the election and supporting the politicians. So I'm sure you will help. Was that Radhika becoming a politician? No.
Prerna.
No, Radhika is a writer. Radhika was a writer.
Prerna, sir. Prerna, sir.
So don't forget Prerna. She's going to be in politics, and you will have to work for and guide her.
Sure, sir.
All right, who next? You know, one thing which you all must keep in mind, and there will be challenges, there will be stresses in life, but you must not focus on how stressed you are. You should always be thankful that how blessed you have been. Your parents took care of you. You had a lovely upbringing at the Sir Paul Mitchell School. Similarly, the university colleges, good friends, networking. So while there will be stress, you need to really, if I may say, change that paradigm of thinking and staying positive during those times. And also, whoever are going into businesses and jobs, services, for that matter, whoever is going to even get into writing and becoming a politician, never let small minds around you convince that your dreams are too big. They will always try to pull you down. So never ever get influenced by this set of people who are always trying to tell you that whatever you are dreaming is big, you will not be able to achieve that. ये ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, ये वैसे नहीं होगा. If you have chosen a path, become deaf, stay focused, target must be in front of your eyes. It's like putting the blinkers on the horse's eye so that he doesn't move left and right and see the grass to eat. He just runs. So that's something which you must keep in mind. So who's next? Anyone?
Jasmine?
Palkin?
Yes, good morning,
Yes,
sir.
Morning. Go ahead, Balkan.
Okay, sir. So I think that I'm not really right now our generation is so wide and open about everything. I think social media would act as a great influence maybe for us, I think, to open businesses also. So right now I'm planning on acquiring a profession, in the sense a skill, and then I'd like to enhance it and then open a business maybe and make it global.
Right, right.
So right now my main focus is to acquire a skill that be worth.
Yes, that is extremely important. So it is just not the education, the skills, the preparation of a focused mind. I mean, all that is part of being prepared to choose what you want to do in life. And skill is equally important.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? I see a hand raised.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, so sir, during the lockdown, I really wanted to help people by doing something, the ones who can't afford anything. So I started my own small business on Instagram. It's called Tyra, and Tyra means peace. So peace during these tough times, and whatever I earn, 70% of it goes to the charity part, and I also started writing. Like I got published in 5 anthologies, and I made my own blog as well. So I write on Instagram, and I post about mental health.
That's very good, Jasmine. Let me also tell you that you can only do charity, you can only give when you have sustainable source of income and wealth which you have created. So when you are in business, the main purpose of doing business is profits, not charity. Business will never be a charity. But what you do with the money which you earn is something which should lie at your heart. And whatever your heart wants to pursue, you should do that. I'm happy to hear that you are earning, and 70% of that you are giving for a charitable cause. Generally, it would be the other way around, that you will keep 95% and only give 5% of charity. So this is something which is very, very good. And I only wish that this stays with you all through your life. Helping others is always great satisfaction and gives immense happiness to everyone.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So, Bhupinder, what time do we need to? I mean, I think we're already way ahead, way out of time.
Ahead, but you can take another 10 minutes. It's okay. We have JA over the initials are. Someone is raising their hand.
Okay.
Unmute yourself and speak.
Yes. Jasmine Ahuja, you raise your hand.
Jasmine just talked. Did we just not finish with him?
No, he was.
No, sir, I just spoke to you.
Okay.
She just spoke.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Harshil, let's hear you. You just came on screen.
So I will first complete my studies, and while doing the studies, I will do internship to earn the experience and skills that is required to do business.
Okay, and is your father in business or professional?
Business.
What business is he in?
Jewelers.
Jewelry.
Yes.
That's the best business to have, man. Never go out of fashion. Never go out of business, because we have girls who will continue to go after the jewels and the jewelry. The only thing I can tell you, and that's the only, and don't take it otherwise, if you happen to go in, and let me tell you, there are traditional jewelers and there are modern jewelers. So I don't want you to be like the one who ran away. What's his name? Nirav Modi. So he was also into the jewelry mainly, and then there are traditional jewelers which we have seen in our hometown in Ludhiana. The only thing I want to leave with you is that when you become, if you pursue that business, pursue it in a very, very honest way. Unfortunately, this is one business where people are not very transparent and honest.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? If not, then let me get to closing the session. Two things I want to talk about. Why and how did we succeed at Bharti? And this is something which I want to share with you. When I was in college, I happened to go to the south on my college trip. I did my post diploma. That was a 4-year sandwich course, a unique course in the 70s. Diploma used to be 3 years and the degree used to be 5 years. So this was a 4-year sandwich course in between. YMCA Institute of Engineering, which is now University, a state university. I happened to go down south during our annual trip, and every factory which I visited, because those were the times it was only factories. I mean, the service sector was never much there. I would enter. At the entrance, there was a small or 2 rooms. That was the owner's office. And then when you walk in, you see the best of plant and equipment, the best of machinery to produce products and goods. And at that time, I correlated Ludhiana. So let me talk about Ludhiana. North India has been like that. Ludhiana has been the most notorious city of manufacturing goods which were never meant for quality, never quality goods. Those were the times when Ludhianvis did not know quality starts from a word Q, and they never knew the spellings of quality. Those were the times when people would go for export orders, show a sample, but when they ship, it will be rusted parts, and they would sort of be thrown in the sea, could not be consumed. That is what Ludhiana was known for. And I sort of stepped back. In Ludhiana, we have the best of the office building, air conditioners, cars, furnitures, and when you go into the production floor, you have the worst machinery, the plant and equipment. And I remember the lathe machines in those days used to be HMT. I mean, that was a golden standard. And there were some down south as well. But we would all go and buy lathe machines from Batala. And the lathe machines of Batala was known for that when you run the machine, it never ran in a centric manner. It will always be eccentric running. So how can you produce a part where the machine itself was never good? So that was one thing which stuck in my mind. The second was, and it is true even today, that time also it was the same, that politicians' children, kids, can never do business. They can never build up good businesses because they felt politics means you have money coming in your way, and therefore you will never ever be wanting to work hard for that matter. So I promised myself while I was in college that 2 things I need to turn if I get the opportunity. One, politicians' children can also work and work hard. 2, Northern Indian companies can also produce quality products. So this was in my mind, and I am so very grateful and thankful that I could see both the things happening in my lifetime. And I can tell you, when we started into small manufacturing, so let's just forget about what we did earlier. But the Beetle, the telephone factory which came up, let me tell you, there is a company in the US, Sprint, who is into telecommunication. They used to buy phones. Once we happened to fly into the headquarters of Sprint in Kansas, and we made a presentation to them that we can make telephones for you. And I don't know how many of you have traveled to the US, but if you have traveled to the US at homes and in hotels, there is this white telephone with a rotary dial. Sorry, not a rotary dial, with a push button, but metal base, gong ringers, the brass gong ringers, and that is a handmade phone. You know, like this car, and I'm just forgetting, Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce is handmade. That phone, each phone had to be adjusted because the gong, the ring, the volume of the sound needs to be exactly the same. So after we made the presentation, I said, we said, any questions? And a young engineer raised his hand in US, Kansas. He says, Mr. Mittal, you have convinced us that you can make telephones for us. But how will you handle snakes in the factory? How do you do that? That was impression of India in the 1990s, 1989, 90, I'm telling you. But lo and behold, we convinced them, we got an order. But before the order, the vice president flew into my factory in Hambra, which is wherever you are in civil lines, it'll be about 15, 18 kilometers outside in a village. And those were the times when Punjab was going through huge crisis. The terrorism was at its peak. I started the factory in 86, 87, and we were really, bogged down. So you couldn't get talented people from outside. We got young engineers from engineering colleges in Punjab, Ludhiana, and the staff and all those workers who came from the villages. So the vice president comes, I take him on the shop floor. We go around, he sees everything. Then he comes into the meeting room, and I have my general manager, myself, my managers, and some of the supervisors of the floor. And to my horror, my team started saying, why can't you have an electronic phone? Why can't you have a plastic base like anyone else? Why do you need this gong ringers which you have to keep on adjusting? Why can't you have an electronic ringer? So my team gave out about 50 different suggestions. He kept listening. We concluded the meeting, got into the car, and when we were driving back, he said, Rakesh, it is for the first time in the history of my going to my manufacturer suppliers, where anyone has given me suggestions or raised questions that why are we using a telephone which we should not be using? And why not the complete electronic phone? He says, I go to China, I go to Taiwan, Korea. We tell them we want this. And he was an Iranian, by the way, not a Punjabi. I'm just sort of using that slang to make my point. Halfway through, he says, Rakesh, we will work with you. I've never seen such bright set of young boys. Of course, you have to put the factory outside Ludhiana. We can't have it in Punjab. To cut the story short, after 1 year, we go back into Kansas for a meeting. The president of Sprint comes into the meeting room and he says, before you start, I have to say something. And the words I still remember, they echo in my mind all the time. He said, we import telephones from China, Taiwan, Korea, and now India. Bharti is the only zero defect supplier in the last 12 months to Sprint. So that is how you have to be very, very focused in what you want to do. And that is how we have made sure that we stay not only focused, but also razor sharp to see what my customer wants and what I need to deliver, how to nurture talent on the shop floor, how to train them on ongoing basis every time so that they are well prepared for any challenge. The second lesson in our life has been aspirations should always be greater than resources. This I learned much later from C.K. Prahlad, who was an academician. He's no more. At one of the interactions which we were having with the senior leadership, he talked about this. And what does it mean? Aspirations must be greater than resources. Your dreams, your aspirations must be beyond, stretching beyond the money you have in your pocket. The day you have extra cash in your pocket, you are bound to get laxed. You are bound to slow down. You are bound to become complacent. And then you see the downfall, or the sort of this, it's a sliding down curve, or a line which we see. So if you have aspirations always greater than your resources, if you can focus well, and I heard many of you who are doing business and charity together, if you make money, make that money to make a difference. I think you will not only conquer frontiers, but you will be hugely successful in your lives. You will be the bright stars of Indian economy in the very near future. And I have no doubt that the platform, the preparation at the Satpal Mittal School from your teachers, which is Bhupinder, Gautam, Neha, ably leading the primary, secondary sections and the school, you will make your mark. And Radhika, when you write your first book, don't hesitate to give credit to your teachers. You can forget me, but don't forget your teachers. You must give credit, because I know the students will always remember their teachers. And before I sign off, let me share with you. This is one of the Urdu a couplet which I read, and I thought it was very, very apt. जो सफर का आगाज करते हैं, and this is the entrepreneurial journey which has taken shape today, whether for writers, whether for politicians, businesses or professionals. जो सफर का आगाज करते हैं, मुकाम उनका इंतजार करते हैं. मुकाम is destination. The destination will wait for you. चलते चलते रहने का जज्बा है दिल में, तो रास्ते भी उनको सलाम करते हैं. So let me end with this beautiful couplet. My good wishes, all the very best, and may you succeed in life.
Thank you so much, sir, for being over here. I think this session has been truly so inspirational and energizing, and I think it's been a big value-ending thing for each of them. And it's always whenever we meet you, we have this sense of awe that we have such a wonderful person as a chairman of the school. If our school is doing so well, I think it's because we have a leader as you on the helm of affairs. So it's a matter of pride for all of us, all these Satyans, all these staff, to have you as a chairman of the school. It's awesome.
No, thank you. Let's hear from Deepika and Randeep. I see the two class teachers. Anything they want to say or share?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm from this side. Sir, I'm an economics teacher and I'm class teacher of class 11C. And I think today what I learned from you is amazing. Being an economics teacher, I always need all these updates. And getting it from you, sir, it's amazing. The session has been amazing. And I think these words of wisdom really played enlightening for me. Thank you so much, sir.
Deepika?
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Today, what I learned from the session, especially, I was not aware that Krish and then there was another boy, I guess his name was Manan, that they are actually working and they're earning also. I really got motivated because when I was in 11th, I don't think so I did something like that, and I was having that kind of, horizon ki, okay, we can do this also. I'm very impressed, and yes, the stories, the experience that you have shared today, it really motivate me. I wish ki my children should be like this. and they should also have that inflation, and they should also think over at the age of only 15 and 16 that they can earn, they can do this thing. So thank you so much for enlightening us.
No, no, good to hear that. And so, anyone who has made money and profits, when the school opens, take some chocolates for your teachers, Randeep and Deepika, and you can say, "Ma'am, kuch meetha ho jaye."
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All the best.
Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, children, for being such a wonderful audience. And I'm always in awe of Mr. Mittal. And though he keeps me on the toes, and as he said, he's one strict person with me. But I think if our school is improving with every year, we're growing every year, that's because you have a person like this kind who keeps you on toes, who keeps you learning, improving, and moving ahead. And thank you so much. It's a pleasure, been a pleasure talking to you all. And wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay home.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.